So while Sean Diddy Combs is held up at the Metropolitan Detention Center awaiting his trial against the Southern District of New York, he's now also being sued by an 11th woman. Thalia Graves claims that Diddy and his security awed her in a bad boy studio years ago. And apparently, this video has been circulating and being put up for sale. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So just when I thought this week might be somewhat quiet in regards to the Diddy of it all, it isn't. Yesterday we reported to you that Albie Shore is breaking his silence and tagging law enforcement, asking them to open up the Kim Porter death and investigate it. He also claims that the book that was released claiming to be Kim's lost words is calculated fiction. Well, today, famed attorney Gloria Allred held a press conference with another victim, speaking publicly for the first time with damning claims against Diddy. I don't know if they're so damning anymore because at this particular point, whatever you said he did, he did.
The internal pain after being assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words. It goes beyond just physical harm caused by and during the assault. It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal. Some of the hardest parts of this pain are the shame and the guilt I have experienced that plays a negative part in my day-to-day ability to function properly. Being blamed, questioned, and threatened has often made me feel worthless, isolated, and sometimes responsible for what happened to me. My family issues made the pain even worse. I was already going through a divorce at the time of the assault and did not get the support that I needed. I was also faced with disbelief and judgment. This has put a strain on my selection of men and relationships. Where many relationships became aggressive and abusive, which has made me feel even more alone in my struggles. I go through spells of being distant and withdrawn that it's sometimes so hard to leave my house. The trauma of the assault has taken a toll on my mental health. I've had PTSD, depression, and anxiety. I'm emotionally scarred. It has been hard for me to trust others, to form healthy relationships, or even feel safe in my own skin. Flashbacks, nightmares, and intrusive thoughts make me feel like it's a constant struggle. also suffer with physical problems such as chronic pain, sexual discomfort. The violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effects on my body, causing ongoing health problems and complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing. I am glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief.
Well, let me just give you, because I have the court documents, but I also want to just kind of give you an overview what's being said in this lawsuit. So our friends over at The Hollywood Reporter write that Sean Combs, the embattled music mogul who remains in jail while he awaits trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges, has been sued again for allegedly R-ing a woman back in 2001. Thalia Graves, a lawsuit filed on Tuesday in New York federal court, says that she was SA'd by Combs and his bodyguard at Bad Boy Records' New York studio after she was given a drink that caused her to briefly lose consciousness. She awoke bound and restrained as they, quote, proceeded to brutally SA and violate her, the complaint alleges. Combs, deepening the legal trouble, is culminating last week with a 3-count indictment accusing him of directing a vast criminal enterprise through which he SA'd and trafficked women with the aid of his business empire from at least 2008. Prosecutors accused him of engaging in, quote, pervasive pattern of abuse that involved coercing women to participate in highly orchestrated sexual encounters with male S-workers who were allegedly flown across state lines and internationally. His bail was denied after he pled not guilty to the charges due to concerns he posed a safety risk and could flee the country. So according to the complaint, Graves was lured to Bad Boy Records studio by Combs, who told her that he wanted to discuss her boyfriend's performance issues at the company, because her boyfriend worked for Diddy at the time. She was picked up by Joseph Sherman, Combs' bodyguard at the time. At the Manhattan studio, Graves was handed a drink which made her feel, quote, lightheaded, dizzy, and physically weak, the lawsuit claims. When she regained consciousness, Graves was, quote, naked and her hands were tied behind her back with what felt like a plastic grocery bag, the complaint says. In response, Sherman lifted her up from the couch and forcibly slammed her face down on what was apparently a pool table. Shortly thereafter, Combs entered the room with no clothes on and proceeded to penetrate her, the lawsuit alleges. Graves was subsequently R'd, according to the complaint. Gloria Allred, her lawyer, said that the incident was recorded and made available for sale. Combs has a pattern and practice of non-consensually recording women engaging in sexual acts and making those videos available to the public, including by selling tapes as porn, states the complaint. In a text message to Graves, a Bad Boy artist corroborated that Sherman used to sell corn of him doing this to chicks, and that Sherman did that to a lot of women, the lawsuit says. Sherman is the Diddy's bodyguard. The lawsuit appears to be at least the 10th brought against Combs after singer Cassie, as you know, who was once signed to his label, sued him in a lawsuit that sparked a federal investigation into S-trafficking and racketeering. As you also know, several of the accusers have advanced allegations, claims that the employees and directors at several of his businesses, including Bad Boy President Harv Pierre, were aware of and facilitated alleged S-crimes. So for decades, Graves remained silent and didn't report the incident to law enforcement out of fear that Combs and his associates would, quote, use their power to ruin her life, as they had repeatedly explicitly threatened to do. So here's an important note, because I know some people are saying, and I know some legal minds would say, you know, this happened so long ago. What is the statute of limitations? But as you know, there were some recent laws here in New York and in California that allowed for people to file claims. So the essay claim, which is more than a decade old, was brought under the New York City's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Act, a statute that allows victims to file civil complaints involving such claims against after the statute of limitations has run out. With denial of bail, Combs is staying at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which is known for squalid and dangerous conditions. And some of you said, we don't care. Graves said in a statement, "I'm glad he's locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief." I watched the press conference, and she was too emotional to even get through her portion of the press conference to read her statement. I'm not surprised. This is just the beginning, as I've said before, of people coming out. And I know a lot of people on social media, a lot of people in the comment section will be like, oh, here we go. Not everyone was affected by Diddy. Not everyone was harmed by Diddy. Well, not everyone. But we do believe that this behavior, which according to the SDNY stems all the way back to 2008, but we know it stems back even further than that. So you're not going to sit here and tell me that this behavior that we have seen on videotape just started and ended there. He was empowered. He was emboldened. According to the SDNY, even after Cassie's lawsuit, these, quote, freak-offs continued into this year. And he knew that they were investigating him. They just went to his Miami and Los Angeles homes. He still had evidence sitting there in the wide open spaces. Guys, as always, we're going to continue to follow these stories and keep you up to date in regards to what is going on with Diddy. There are still, as you know, multiple civil lawsuits against him. According to Gloria Allred, she confirms that she is possibly working with other people that have similar complaints against Diddy. Guys, let's continue this conversation in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
You bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes.